Clock. I'm calling this meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli.
Here.
Councilwoman DePena will not be attending this evening. Councilman Graziano.
Here.
Natari.
Here.
Rovell.
Here.
Strumelob Burke. Mayor Melham.
Here. Sunshine notice.
Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was published in the Thursday, July 1st, 2021 editions of the Belleville Times and Star Ledger. A copy of the annual meeting notice has been posted on the Belleville Town Hall Bulletin Board, and copies are on file in the municipal clerk's office.
Pledge of allegiance. To my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you're following on the agenda today, we have executive session. We have no items for executive session, correct?
Correct.
Nope. Hearing none, this is the first council meeting of the month. Therefore, it is our combined conference, regular meeting. Council members have the ability to put multiple items on the agenda for discussion. As I always say, members of the public that are here watching us are literally here to watch our debate and deliberation. There is no public participation during this portion of the meeting. If you hear something that you want to question or you have an interest in, you can certainly do so during public commenting when that portion of the meeting comes. So without further ado, we have the much anticipated discussion of the manager. We have a status update on the GovPilot modules. I believe there's 11? 10. 10. 10 plus the extra software, so, okay. All right. The floor is yours. Make sure your microphone is on, please.
My mic is on. I'm going to do a recap of where we started and where we are today. I also asked a representative from GovPilot, Tom, I'll probably screw up your last name so you get to speak later. He's here firsthand, and he can answer some questions. I know Bobby is on his way too, who uses it a lot, so.
Bobby's right there. Right there.
I think Bobby's
Hiding.
the
Usually in the
only
back.
one to use it.
He had his
but-
mask on before.
Yes. So, okay. So, let's take it from the beginning, from the very beginning. The construction department was using a program, some may say outdated or a little older. The version was Municity.
Yes.
Thank you, Municity.
Municity.
That's a tongue twister. And back in, it was either 2019 or 2020, construction department came, asked us to first meet with GovPilot. We sat down, we looked at it. In the 2020 budget, we did allocate money for a replacement program, which would be GovPilot. In 2020, we didn't have the budget committee, so as much as we put that in on the professional services, the money, we never did go through the whole specific line item with the budget committee because the budget committee didn't participate in the 2020 budget, but participated in the 2021 budget. I think, obviously, that was one of the reasons why we've gotten so far. Again, it was put into the line item, they had a state contract, so we were moving full steam ahead. And then I think it was the mayor who called a timeout and said, you know, let's bring this all back together. How did we get there? We didn't sign contracts, things of that nature. Then back in March of 2020, we did sign, March of 2021, the mayor and council passed a resolution authorizing the agreement with GovPilot. I think you have since gotten that contract that you were looking for, but that's one of your questions that you wanted me to answer. So the initial presentation of GovPilot should have and did include the fact that there was going to be a transition period, and during this period, we would have to phase out. And I'm just sticking with the construction department for now, and then I'll go over the other 10 applications. But
Yeah, let me just stop you 1 second. I'm glad you said it that way. So just so the council knows and is aware, we have, it's really two pieces. We have new software for construction code, and then we have 10 modules. Those modules are things like report of concern and Oprah and things that other departments use. So there is construction code software, and then there's the modules that we have.
okay,
The
yes.
modules are customized, by the way.
Yeah.
So they are, well, you may not believe that, but I've been through the process with them.
Well, they have our name on it.
And I've seen what they've had to go through as far as the way they configure and all the other things, which I think Bobby and some of the other people were part of.
So One of the reasons that we're not up and running in the construction department just yet, and there's several reasons, but the biggest reason is getting the data transferred from the old company into the new company. And this is not abnormal when a company finds out that they're not being renewed or that we're going in a different direction. So until all of the data is transferred into our possession to give to GovPilot, there clearly was a delay on the three applications which would be code enforcement CCO, code enforcement business registration, and construction.
So that answer has now changed because a month ago it was because of credit card processing. So now we're saying that.
No,
we
the credit card-
It's the first I'm hearing that we don't have the data.
No, Municipal City has always been dragging their feet, for better words. And Corinne may show up and can give us an update on that. If she does make it, that would be great. She can give us an update on where we are on that. But the credit card issue was, and that still is an issue, we recently went out to bid.
Right.
And that's the reason why we couldn't apply that application to it, because we had to go out to bid. We did go out to bid, we received bids, we awarded a contract at the last meeting or the meeting before that. I know our purchasing director, Williams in the back, he's been in contact with the credit card company. We have something scheduled, I believe, for next week. So that was one of the key components that we were looking forward to, taking it to the next level, being able to accept credit cards. Because we know small businesses like to use their credit cards versus, obviously, they don't have as much cash. They like to get points, all of the above. So that's another perk, and we're moving in the right direction. And I believe that's scheduled next week.
Yeah, can we get a timeline for both credit cards and data transfer?
Yeah, I can't give you that today without meeting with we haven't even met with the credit card company.
We've had this contract in place for 6 months. I mean,
No, not the credit card.
Not the credit
Not
card.
the
In
credit
fact, we went to
card.
bid twice on that and blew it, so.
So-
maybe I could explain my own question. We've had this contract with GovPilot for 6 months, and we have no idea when the data is going to come from the other company?
Yeah, we can get you that update. And I don't know if Tom's able to answer that. And if you want Tom to jump in on one questions that he.
Let's just wait until.
Okay, and then we can do that. Because I know Corinne and Tom can, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. So, kind of fast forward, we did award the resolution 6 months ago. We rolled out and we deployed Oprah, in which we received 243 Oprahs. Reported concerns is deployed 697 of those. Work
A lot of
orders.
those are, just so you know, a lot of those are manually inputted by our staff.
Yes. Some-
I don't want anybody in the public to think that the general public has adopted this and is using it. Those are
Well-
manually being entered in by staff members here, most of them.
No, I would agree with you that the majority are, but each day, there's more and more people using GovPilot, and like any new program, it's going to take some while. So let me
Last week,
just,
we were down 30% in report of concern.
well, let me just, finish. So 243 Oprahs, 697 contacts were report of concern, work orders, 161, asset management, 574, vehicle equipment, 67. So that's a total of 1,742 contacts, hits, whatever you want to call it. These 1,742 contacts are all traceable. It's government at our fingertips. So we are moving in the right direction with those. And again, I mentioned Oprah, report of concern, work orders, asset manager, and vehicle equipment. So those are 5 that have been deployed, up and running, performing very well. And again,
Can you name the 5 that are deployed again? I'm sorry.
yes, Oprah,
Oprah, got it,
report of concern,
got it.
work orders,
Work orders, we had none last week. Go ahead.
asset management,
Asset management, 0. We've never had anything historically for 6 months. Go ahead.
there's 574 asset management.
I'm looking at the statistics from GovPilot, by the way. Go ahead.
I can provide you with data that says,
This is the email from GovPilot, just so you know, which is the weekly update that we all get.
So you're one's looking at the live stuff? I mean, Anthony, is this helping you? I mean, that's really the question to me. Is it helping you manage this better?
well, yeah, GovPilot does work, and I want Tom, when he gets the opportunity, to confirm that.
How about dog licenses?
Okay, let me finish. So when I say, and let's just stick with asset management, because there were 574 hits with that work orders. Bobby is the person that's actually doing the work orders. and that's how come I thought it would be helpful for Bobby to answer those questions. Animal license and food established license would have been deployed. We were on schedule, moving in that direction. We had some personnel changes, so we had to hit the break. We had to regroup. We have some additional training.
Statistic, 0 this week, 0 last week. Go ahead.
That's right, because it's not deployed yet.
Okay.
Those
In
two.
6 months. I mean, we spent $200,000, $50,000 a year.
We did-
Wait. We did not spend $200,000. Stop.
$50,000 a year, I just
Stop
said.
interfering with government, man.
$50,000 a year, that's math. $50,000
we haven't even
times 4
spent
is
$50,000 yet.
$200,000.
We haven't spent 50,000
I
yet.
put this on, the
Come on,
Councilman
stop.
Revelle put this on the agenda? I don't think so. I put it on, so you can continue.
I'm trying to just tee it up, and then you
Let
guys
him
can
do
take
his
it whatever
work.
direction you want. So we didn't, so between animal license, food establishments, code enforcement, CCO, code enforcement, business registration, and construction permit, we are trying to finalize the training that is going to come with it. Some of this
Have we
training,
had in-person training yet for construction code?
the reason, and this is a question for Tom, the reason why we did not have the follow-up.
6 months into this contract, we've yet to even have
Because without
in-person
having
training.
the data over, bringing them in, without us finishing with the old company, doesn't allow us to go forward.
Okay.
So we're waiting, and again, it's the only finger pointing we could finger at is the old company who is not
If I
transferring.
email Oprah's going to that company, we're going to see multiple requests for data that have been ignored by the company, that we just renewed, we just paid another year's worth of.
That's the 3,033.
So if I Oprah emails and see how many times we've actually reached out to that company asking for data, I'm going to find how many.
Not sure what the question is. Whose
How many times-
email are you going to request?
That as many times as our construction code department, who's ever in charge, has emailed Muni City asking for the data, finding out when we're going to get that.
If it was done by an email, there would be a confirmation of an email. If it was done by a phone call, I'm not going to be able to speak for the construction department.
Are they here?
Corinne was scheduled to be here, because Frank had a family commitment, and I do not see Corinne just yet.
Okay.
If she comes, she could jump in and explain to us where we are with the older company and the new company. So again, just bringing it all up together, so we've been able to identify 5 deploy up and running, 2 are scheduled for some training next week, and then the construction department, those 3. I don't want to say that the target date is November 1st, just in case we miss a deadline, but certainly that would be, hopefully, by November 1st, all 10 are up and running. But again, I don't want to give you that. Certainly, Tom is here to answer any additional questions that the mayor and council may have. And I think I answered the questions that you outlined as far as
I think.
how much we paid for the older software. That I told you that 3,300 was based on a January invoice that gets for 12 months, and we knew we needed that this year regardless. I think that's it.
So according to my weekly update that I get, it seems as though Report of Concern and Oprah are the 2 most popular modules, although Report of Concern was down 30% last week. I have 2 items in vehicles and equipment, 0 the week before. Pet licenses, 0 this week, 0 last week.
Pet
Resale
license is not
CCO.
deployed.
Okay. I mean, 6 months, I wish I can get a contract where I could get paid for 6 months and not have to deploy. CCO, not deployed. IT ticket management, not deployed or 0. Dog licenses, 0 and 0. Asset management, 0 this week, 0 last week. Business registration, 0 this week, 0 last week. Rental CCO, 0 this week, 0 last week. I mean, I'd like to get our money's worth before we conclude our first year. That's why I was asking for a timeline.
Oh, I agree. I think we do need a timeline.
I think the dog license renewals is January usually. I think.
Yeah,
Just in
that-
That's why, I mean, that's why.
I think that's why we put that one on the back burner.
Yeah. But it should be up and running by that time for the renewals.
So I guess this would be a question for GovPilot, I guess. When we get those up and running, like dog licenses, to me, it's a, and I guess you could relay this, although I've relayed it many times. If the module for dog licenses that gets embedded into the website is the same as Report of Concern and Oprah request, these forms are not responsive. which means that you cannot, it's very difficult to use your mobile phone. You have to scroll left, right, you have to pinch. So much so, I mean, websites went responsive 6 or 8 years ago, so we're dealing with a 6 or 8-year-old technology on that, so much so that Google will not even index the site if it's not responsive or mobile-friendly. I've talked to Bobby about it. The mapping feature does not work on Report of Concern. I've emailed the company and CC'd the manager 10, 11, 12 times. I've sat on Liberty, 2 dead trees across the street from you, sir. You open up the app, so that's the website is not responsive. I said, okay. They said to me, don't use the website because it's not responsive. Use the app. Download the app, go to Liberty Street, try and report 2 dead trees. You put the address in, it refreshes and finds an address on Grellock Parkway, 4 blocks away. You can't use it. I mean, you just can't use it. I've shown you the video of the address changing. The map feature does not work.
It's working for so many other people because,
You say that, but I don't know if you actually have seen it.
well, I see it every day.
Okay, so you will tomorrow, and we can video this, sit in my car and drive up to a house and record my phone with the address changing?
I think Tom might be able to address that.
GovPilot has acknowledged that the mapping feature does not work. They've acknowledged
It
that.
doesn't work like the way you think it should work, Mike, and that's been part of the problem here.
No, Steve.
Stop badgering him.
I think-
Why are you badgering him?
I
So,
think Tom
Steve,
can
He
answer that.
That's for sure.
he
He
thinks
is
it's
badgering
working
him.
for him.
But
He's the
they've been working
manager.
on that.
So,
Enough enough.
Steve, I know.
Stop badgering him, please,
Okay, Steve,
Mike.
I'm still
Stop.
speaking, by the way. So, Steve, you're not a part of the emails where GovPilot acknowledges it doesn't work. When you put an address in,
I
address
have seen
changes
it
to a
where
different
you've
street.
complained about everything, Mike, and I sit here in a beautiful, nice conference room that can't support hybrid meetings, which has been going on for well over a year.
Most
So,
council people
yes,
want to
we-
attend,
Yes,
Steve.
yes, we have things that we should be
So
doing.
can we hear from
and moving
GovPilot on the
forward.
responsiveness of the website? Can we hear from GovPilot on that?
Tom, you want to come up and put this on?
How you doing, Tom? So I guess you've been on some of the emails.
I have.
You have. And GovPilot has acknowledged that the mapping feature does not work. It's not, as Councilman Revelle would say, that it's not the way I want it to work. I want an address to put in, and then when you leave that field, it doesn't change to a different address in a different street. I think if you're reporting a concern in front of a house and you type in 17 Liberty, it should not go to 253 Greylock. That causes problems. GovPilot has acknowledged that problem, and they are working on it. So
Location
it's
here.
unlike what Councilman Revelle says, that it's just not the way I want it. It doesn't work. So we're paying for, and we've been paying for, a product that's not working. So first part is, can you provide an update on the mapping feature? Because I use it, Bobby uses it, it's an issue. We can't use the mobile version because there is none. We have to use the app, and the map doesn't work.
Sure. Well, I did see that. We have acknowledged that those issues were a problem, and they
I'm
have.
not badgering the company, correct? You are saying that it doesn't work.
It was not working at the time when those issues were brought to our attention, correct? And we have been addressing those. Part of those issues is that we had a mismatch with the tax assessment data for the property records that were being uploaded with the Google Maps data that we were overlaying it with. And we've been addressing that issue and steadily fixing it. And so each address is getting addressed day in and day out to become better and better. And so the functionality is improving steadily as we match those addresses with your tax assessment records. And so, yes, it is getting better day in day. And at this point, I'd say it's nearly fully functional, especially based on the fact that, yes, we do have, last month alone, last 30 days, there were 32 public submissions from the report of concern. And those have all been addressed and handled within your code enforcement department. And so the functionality is right there. Those were public submissions from constituents or reporters. Same thing with the Oprah. There were various externals from there. There are 243 total records. 50 of those over the last 6 months since it's been deployed were external from the form on the website. So the functionality is there and it's being submitted and they're being addressed.
Can you explain why? I mean, it's not, I have a little bit of background on this. A web form is a pretty standard thing. Making it what's called responsive, I'm not talking mobile friendly, I'm talking responsive, has been a standard in the industry for 6 to 8 years. Is there a reason why it's not responsive, meaning that for the residents who don't understand what I'm saying, it will show on your phone, but you have to go left and right and pinch and type in, then close it, and then drag it over to the ad. where responsive, it just goes straight down, field by field by field. It's a very standard thing. It's not that way for report of concern, which makes it very difficult to do on your phone. It's not that way for open publics, and I'm fearful that it's going to be that way when we launch dog licenses and everything else. Is there a reason why we can't get that to go responsive?
So as of right now, I don't have an answer for you on that. If I had been able to brought our CEO in, he would have been able to have that answer. He was hoping to be able to Zoom in, but wasn't able to, unable to be here physically. But I can take that note down and get back to you with
It's been in
any.
all my emails, so.
Sure, sure. Well, I'll get back to you with that. Just you want to know about the mobile functionality of the apps?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
responsiveness would help.
Sure. For the applications. Sure. And then I can also touch up a little bit about that data with Municity and where we are with construction. So we did receive that Municity data about 2 months ago after months of going back and forth with them.
We're no longer waiting for it.
We are no longer waiting for that Municity
Thank you
data.
for
We do
correcting
have
the
it.
manager.
Yes, we do have it, and it has been uploaded and built into the construction software, and that construction software has been built. We actually are currently just waiting to schedule a review meeting with some of the subcode officials from the construction department to go over some of the finer details of the fee schedules for plumbing and electric.
How long have you been waiting for that meeting?
Well, we'd had it coming and going. There was something that came up this morning, apparently an emergency inspection that had to get conducted, and so it didn't happen this morning, but we're hoping to get it on the schedule this week. Once that gets going, we can keep this ball rolling. It really looks like once we get those, there's just a few more things we need to tune out, the finer details, and we should be able to get that up and running by November 1st if these meetings are conducted in a timely manner, hopefully by the end of this week. So that's getting up and running. And I can also address a few of the other modules within the construction department while we're on it. The business registration and the certificate of occupancy. On the contract, it's listed as, I believe, rental registrations or something of that sorts, but it's basically certificate of occupancy module. And so the business registration and certificate of occupancy have been deployed. They are ready to be in use. The reason there is no usage on there is that training has not been conducted yet. The reason being is we only conduct training for what we label as premium modules for in-state customers, New Jersey, and those would be construction and health. And there was a request of the user of the CO module, the certificate of occupancy, to have an in-person training. And since we don't typically do that for those templated modules, we decided that we would, once construction is up and running, which is the premium module, come out and do a full day of training for business registration, CCO, and the construction permit, so that we will be providing in-person training for these templated modules once the premium module is up and running, which, like I said, pending the scheduling of these meetings, should be by November 1st for your deadline there. And so that's for the construction department. Touching up on the other ones that are not deployed yet, the health department, the animal licensing, like you said, there is some changeover in that department, and so we've
That
been...
changeover just recently happened, though. I
Sure.
mean, that certainly can't be the delay for 6 months.
Sure.
It really does go back to that. It gets very detailed, but yeah, without discussing personnel matters, but yeah.
There were also some changes in the request of the module. So we had it built out separately as dog and cat licensing, so one module for each. Once we did that, there was a request to combine them, and we did that for no charge, completely reconfigured the module to make it a combined module for all animal licensing. And that's been fully built out, and we're just waiting to schedule a review meeting for that. So once that review meeting is scheduled out, once again, we can roll that out. That will definitely be up and running by well before your January 1st deadline for your animal registrations. So that'll be ready. And then the health module is the last one within that health department that we're still waiting for. And that one is because that is another premium module. It's a very big module. We have all the variables from you that we need. We are currently just waiting for it in the queue. The real honest reason for that is we had some transition there. I know there are change of module selection. I know planning and zoning board is in the contract, but that was dropped throughout deployment as it was decided it wasn't going to be needed, and we wanted to spread GovPilot throughout various departments. And so the health module, which will be restaurant inspections and things of that sort, will be conducted and is being built out as we go along. It's just that was sort of the last one to come into the contract and into discussion, and so naturally it's going to be the last one to be deployed.
Okay.
And so that's basically the status of them. If you have any other questions, please let me know.
No, I think no more questions for GovPilot. I just think my issues are more internal here. Traditionally, you don't hire and then do the work. You sign the contract when you get the work, not necessarily 6 months of waiting, and now another month or so of waiting and waiting for January for the rest, and, but that's an internal issue here, I guess, not with you. Anybody else have questions for GovPilot? Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you, Mayor and the council.
Thank you. You good, Ant? Have anything else?
On GovPilot? Nope, I'm fine.
Okay. So we're going to move on with the next topics. Our next topic, I only have one item. I mentioned this a couple meetings ago, sister cities. I do want to start naming a couple of them. Chief, you could help me. I know in Italy, we had Farino.
Yeah, Farino.
Farino. So being that this is Italian Heritage Appreciation Day, we had a Columbus parade this weekend. We are still 3 more days into Hispanic Heritage Month. That's why I put it on the agenda again for a second time. So Farino in Italy,
Yeah.
is that still in existing, or do we have to? I do not. Okay.
City's there, but.
The city's there, yeah.
The city's there. I mean, we were close with the mayor there at one point. Yes.
So I had a list of,
I think it's out of Avellino. I think it's in Avellino.
I think we can do, so we have Italy covered, if we want to go back to Farino. I'd like to do, obviously, we have a big Ecuadorian population, Peru, maybe Dominican Republic, Brazil, so if we have any council members that have recommendations for at least one city in some of our predominantly Hispanic countries too, that would be great. We could maybe do them all at one time, but I just wanted to throw that out there for the second time. I did want to get down the Italy one, and again, mostly because of the time of year it is. I know we're celebrating both Italian and Hispanic heritage. Just wanted to circle back on that. Okay, that's it for me. Councilman Graziano.
Thank you, Mayor. So a couple things I'd like to share with the council and Anthony, too. So first up is the technology. So as you all know, I reported last month that we're in our second phase or third phase where the network is coming together, and we're looking at the telephony side, which is all voice-related stuff. After doing a lot of homework, investigation, to come to find out that there's been a number in existence. It's 973-844-1990. It's not published anywhere. It's the number that is connected to an IVR. What that is, it's a,
Integrated voice response.
I'm sorry?
Integrated voice response?
Correct. And so it should be where the community should be using that number. And then, once it comes in, it points you to the, it'll tell you, do you want to go to the manager's office, so forth, so on. It just brings you down a tree, and then you finally get there. But if you know the extension, you can get there first, without going through that tree. I'm not making recommendations. I'm making recommendations, but I'm just sharing it with everybody to say, it's been there, God knows how long.
So it's a main line.
It's a main line that's been here, never been used in the capacity where it should be used, but yet we're having everybody and anybody dial direct phone numbers from the outside to these individuals, which, when it comes to call recording, which is our next step, and all of this other tracking, which we should be doing, for all the right reasons. I really think that, we should look into it, and team, we should look into it, and moving the numbers. It could be a transition, but moving that number to the forefront, and then making the IVR, updating it accordingly. So I just want to share that with you, as we're going through and migrating these numbers over, I'm finding a lot of stuff out that hasn't been used, so forth and so on, and we're just making it better, right? Just like we did the network.
What's the number?
It's
The main number.
973-844-1990.
We have to set up the decision tree to do that with?
I'm sorry?
We'd have to set up.
There is one already there. We just
Already
need
there.
to go, we
We
need
just
to
need
go
to access
through
it.
it. It's accessible. We need to advertise it, and I think we need to go back
And make sure it
and
works,
make
right?
sure, I know it works, but make sure that if I want to get Anthony, it's 2569.
It routes correctly.
Right. And that's why we can point that to JCT to do that, but I want to make sure that you're okay with
Okay.
that.
That makes
That's great.
sense.
That's
as
great.
Somebody who works in 25 cities or 25 different websites,
Great idea.
every day you're changing phone numbers. So if you just have one master number, you never have to worry about any of your information being incorrect, either in marketing literature, flyers, pamphlets, advertisements, nothing, because you just have one main number with a tree. and
Hypothetically.
Right.
That's the right way to do it.
And then,
Hypothetically, we could route our existing number to that number and have it do that, right?
What number?
Well, 450, 3,000, or 2,000,
Yes,
whatever
or
we
you
have
can
out.
come in there and point it that way, or
Point
you
it
can
that
do
way.
either way.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
port it to where you need to. But then internally, with the new 4 or 5 digits, whatever we pick, internally through all of the 5 offices that we have, I call them offices, but, you know, our departments, you can dial the 4-digit number. You don't have to dial like you do today, 973-450, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I think that's more internal, and externally, they should dial that main number.
Okay.
I just wanted to share that with you, and then we can give Anthony direction on how to go, if you're okay with that.
Great.
Okay. The second one, street cleaning. I've been getting a lot of questions on street cleaning in, around Ward 2 and other areas to where, how come my street's not clean? I did have the conversation with Anthony and Chief Medicini on that there are a lot of streets that are not documented for street cleaning. Didn't know it. So I asked Anthony, I want to share with you that I asked Anthony to say, hey, we need to document, I would recommend documenting them and put them on the schedule so those people can get that same service that everyone else has gotten over the years.
Yeah, there's not an ordinance
So-
for those streets, that's,
The only thing I would suggest is that,
Oh, you don't
you know,
create
we have
ordinances.
never gotten any complaints from
do
any,
not create.
any undocumented street, which tells me they like it that way, which we don't want to go into a neighborhood and
that.
upset them. What I would do is give me the name of any
Okay.
of your streets that are complaining to you, which is fine, and we'll address it. But for us to go into neighborhoods and,
Okay.
Fair enough.
And it's not streets that are complaining, it's people, individuals on those streets. So again, I agree with you that one may like it and 10 may not, but, you know,
I just don't want to fix something that's not broken, but any concern that you have, certainly send it our way. And
it's fixed, not broken, understood, but it's also services that should be equal across our community. That's all.
And the only thing I just want to point out, so the whole council knows and the chief knows this, our street, and Bobby's here as well, our street sweeper probably goes down every single one of those blocks without it being documented. So they get the best of both worlds, so to speak.
right, yeah.
So,
Don't get tickets, but
right.
Yeah.
Like it.
And the cars are not being moved, so they're not getting close to the curb and stuff.
Right,
Okay,
so it's a little one,
I got you, I'm just sharing,
Doesn't it?
yeah,
But
exactly.
send us those streets.
sharing information.
Thank you.
We'll take it.
Fairway Park. I'm rattling through these, so don't mind that. Got a couple complaints, and I know they've been hit hard with Ida, but this is not
yeah.
about Ida. This is about the park itself. There is a 6-foot fence. I have a diagram here. I actually went there. When you come in from Fairway, there's a gate, and the gate's 4 foot high, and it's not always locked. And the gate to the right of that is 4 foot high, which is now being bent and broken because kids are jumping over it, which they're getting into the park, and the park's a mess. Okay, we did a beautiful job, love it, good, but I think we need to go back and make it all 12 foot across, and it needs to be, locked. And there needs to be an ordinance, and I'm gonna go back to the ordinances, because it's gonna roll into the recreation piece of it. Now that we're doing things bigger and better and greater in this town for all of the children on all parts, and the community, especially at the high school, we need to start, my recommendation again, is putting tight ordinances in and watching them and enforcing them. Because like we did years ago, the field was done at the high school. I'm going to switch subjects. The field was done at the high school. The fence around it was broken, and it's been broken, and I know we're looking at it, which has been my next topic. But the same thing with Fairway. The people, any apartments have complained directly to me. They call me. When I walk, they stop me. They're jumping over on cars. They're jumping from the cars over the fence. And when we did the fence and we did the park down there, I highly recommend.
You mean on the side?
On the side, we need to continue that 12-foot fence down and secure that, because if you go there now, it's filthy. The basketball court's filthy, the fences are broken, and we did such a nice job, it's getting worse. So I just think the community down there deserves it. So I want to throw that out there, Anthony, to you and see what everybody else thinks.
So we do have an ordinance in place for all parks, dusk to dawn, so that's the easy part. We don't have to, adopt any ordinances. Dusk to dawn,
Locked?
locking it, we have to address it. And again, that's probably going to go on to your next topic, because obviously, after dusk, if it's not locked, kids will still use the facility, and I guess that's what we have to address. So, the dusk to dawn is in place, and now we just have to address
The locking.
locking it and who's going to lock it and things like that. But certainly with the, not to take your item, but with the new construction and the new facility up at the high school, we've been working closely with the chief, but we have to have something in place so that children are not there after, before dusk or after dawn, that they're not there with dogs, motorbikes, bicycles, things of that nature.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony. And then to roll with new recreation. Ant, you sent out a beautiful email with updates that we're going to do, things that we want to get done up there at the high school, because we have a beautiful complex. And you mentioned dog park, additional pickleball. Phenomenal. I don't know if you all know about it. Great reviews we're getting back from the community on pickleball. So that's where I wanted to address it. I really think, and I really think the two fields are a nice item, Anthony, but I would like them stands on the right-hand side, along with the dog park. I think if those stands come down, we can utilize that area much better with other, like another pickleball field or addressing the dog park, because I did a walk around the whole field again, okay? So there's plenty of space in the back, seating, understood. I know it's been there for a while, it's an icon. Coming into the field, opening it up, I think the complex is gonna be beautiful, okay? And that just takes away from the beauty of that baseball field. But
Which field are we talking about
the high
now?
school field,
The varsity field
the
now?
varsity field, yes.
The ones you already ripped down, half of the?
I didn't rip them down, but they were
Tom, I mean,
taken
you
down.
realize that cost us money because now we can't host anything there?
No,
None of the
that's-
state
I
tournaments
think
or
you're
anything else?
directing your
that's not
comments to
true.
the wrong person, Councilman. I think the manager took them down.
No, that's okay. That's, no, no,
I don't care who took down.
I'm fine.
This is what he's talking about
You don't
now.
care.
But I'm-
Excuse me,
I'm-
Mike, but that's what he's talking about.
if you don't mind,
You're
I don't mind
you're
having a
talking about taking the
conversation.
rest of the
Conversation
stands
among
down.
us all. Go ahead, speak.
Okay.
Like get
And
everybody.
I'll tell you the reason why. So just, we all know baseball. And if you go to any baseball game today, any parent in here, any parent sitting up here, when you watch your
Sideline.
child play,
Sidelines.
you are in the back, you are on the right field, left field, or in the back. If you go to a professional game, the seats, the most expensive seats are in the back, the best seats are in the back. And we have a beautiful field, and at one time when they were put in for probably a good reason. I agree with you.
No, the reason was, at that point in time, that we could
can
start
cheat.
to host other types of games.
Right, and we-
State games and that
Never
kind of
hosted
stuff.
anything.
And originally, just so you're aware, and I think you are, Mike, those stands that were there were actually supposed to go on the other side, which to me was like you said, where they should have been. So when we ripped those other ones down, instead of destroying them, we probably should have moved them, got rid of that Belleville sign.
Here's a good point to even do that over there.
Yeah.
And again, it's changed. You can move them over there, but it opens up when you come into the complex. You're going to look to the right. You see the beautiful baseball field. You're going to have the pickleball courts. You're then going to see the two new football fields, soccer field. You're going to see it's going to be beautiful. So I'm only mentioning that because it came up here. It was in an email that was sent out and things that we need to do. Pickleball fields. It came up in my head. A third one would be beautiful on top of it, because the feedback that we're getting, I'm personally getting from, nothing take away from the young group, but the elderlies that can't play tennis no more, and they're like,
growing
this is
sport in America.
Right, it's growing fast. Let's give the community things that can be used more so than others.
Rather
So-
than keeping stands that
Right,
nobody's
so
using.
that's my only, I wanted to bring in here because I know what happened last time. I wanted to have the conversations as grown-ups and
Agree.
say, hey.
I agree.
Let's, if we can go that way, let's do it.
I mean, if anything, I think we should actually turf that field. I mean, that to me is, make it more useful. I mean, that baseball field
It
should have been
floods,
turfed
I
before
know.
anything. But.
But I was just bringing this piece up, I wanted to share with everybody.
No, I-
Yeah, Tom, I just want to piggyback you on that. Pickleball is huge right now, and I'm really glad that we're doing this. It's a great, if you want to call it a sport or a game, but it's huge, and it's especially for, I don't want to use the word elderly, but for people that are a little older. I played a
Sorry
lot of,
about
I played a lot of it in Texas. I mean, it's just, it's huge, and I think this is so good for the community to have
No
pickleball.
doubt.
Yeah, can we look, can we look into moving the stands to where that Belleville sign is? Because I know Bobby's told me it's nothing but a headache to
Get
maintain
rid of
that.
that, get rid of that.
You know the
Belleville,
hedges,
the
the one
shrubs.
that's, the shrubs?
Get rid of the shrubs.
It's on the, home base side of the
right.
field?
Right field line.
So rather than,
Base, right?
Yeah, yeah.
the first base side, but you know how underneath the grandstand, the concrete grandstands, we have it in turf? It says Belleville Municipal Stadium.
Yeah,
Right.
same thing.
Having that Belleville in turf.
Yeah.
We have stands there already that fit where they're supposed to be, to then shoehorn in this other monstrosity of stands and place them there too would.
They were originally supposed to go there.
They were supposed to go there.
That's
yes.
We
originally
never
where it
fill
was
them. I
designed.
mean, what's
And
the
then
point?
somebody decided to put them on the other side, which I didn't agree with, but it was, the other thing too was to make it a big enough seating arrangement so that we could host state
And
and
it's been
other
20 years, we
games.
haven't hosted anything.
Yes, we have. Come on, just because you didn't go to it.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't make it?
So
Next
that's
up, streetlights?
streetlights, yes. So this rolls back into, as I do a lot of walking through the town, I walk in at night and come find a lot of streetlights throughout Belleville are out. Take a call to Anthony, went to Gov, again, I'm just rolling with this, I went to GovPilot, it's not about GovPilot, it's about the lights being out. I went and I said, how do I report these? You gotta go to the little sticker on this, on the little emblem
On the
on
pole.
the
On the pole. On the
pole, and you
pole,
gotta
yeah.
put it into GovPilot.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so, to do that, you can only do one at a time, you can't do bulk, because there's a lot of them out, so that's one.
So you can go to PSE&G's
That's-
site and probably.
PSE&G
put it on
Well,
there.
that's,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not,
what you're supposed to do.
that's not my concern. My concern is the citizens again. I would like to be on a proactive side, sitting up here, than a reactive side, and to say, because when all the streets are bright, it's safer, not only for the community, but for the police, okay? Because they're out and about. How can we have somebody do that? Why do we have to rely on the residents to do that? Why can't we be proactive?
They do report them.
Maybe, I mean, the other thing too, maybe we put a link on our site to PSE&G's to report it.
Right to theirs, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I do know.
Haven't been doing it because we have a new batch of officers, I'll make sure.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know that, chief, so I could tell you, when I walk, and I walk, and I walk, and I see one after another, same time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Talk at the communication center and
Yeah.
then they email it right to PSCG every time.
Okay, and I just looked at it from where, instead of the residents, right, we should be proactive. That's all.
Right, but the only people that are working after 4 o'clock are basically our police department. And again, they do a good job, because I know that they were giving them in, and I know Georgianne and Donna, without GovPilot,
Right.
do it all the time. GovPilot is just a plus if somebody comes across one.
And again, I don't care where it gets documented, all I'm saying is to complete the process and let's get them done, that's it.
The chief got that?
Probably a new, we had a new batch of officers, probably aware of them, I'll make sure. Make sure you put some streetlights up tonight.
No, thank you,
Your
chief,
new
and again,
FDR.
I was not aware of that process, so I apologize, but
No, it's fine.
I'm just sharing what I find.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what I.
Anything
That's all
else?
I have.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to report of the manager.
Hey. Good evening again. It's a very brief report, but I guess the complaint started on Friday. Today, we've probably received another 3 or 4. Teterboro Airport has changed their flight
Flight
Uh,
path.
pattern.
The
And
noise levels.
we are not sure if this is temporary, permanent. Sometimes when they do construction on the runway, they change things. So we were on the phone, actually 3 times today with Congressman Sirius's office. They were trying to get back to me by 5 o'clock tonight to confirm that this is temporary. I don't have the answer if it's temporary or could be long-term permanent, but certainly for the residents that have been calling the manager's office in reference to newly unexpected noise, planes seem like they're right on top of the roofs. And again, because of the flight pattern that has changed, it's very startling because residents never heard this before or heard it this loud. So we'll continue to work with Congressman Sirius's office to see if this is just temporary. If it's permanent, it's a little more of a challenge, and certainly we'll come back and address it with the council and the residents. Our garbage collection with furniture and household furniture that was ruined during the last hurricane has become an issue in the town, because this storm is 6 weeks old, and people, and again, I realize that they're in a tough predicament, but they're still putting it out. We meaning the Department of Public Works had to get back to some sort of routine schedule. We were falling behind on leaves. We're going into leaf season. So our contractor, there's not much help, but that's not to anybody's surprise. So we're doing the best that we can. We're only, so some people that are still putting out household furniture, it may take a little longer because, again, we just can't devote, that's the only priority, or that's the only task that we're doing. So we ask the residents to be patient, and we will continue to get rid of it. I was hoping that the Public Works yard would be empty by now, but it just, again, if you see the amount of the amount of weight that we're bringing into the yard, it's startling. Noticed everybody has our pink ties. It is Pink Breast Cancer Awareness, Cancer Awareness, and certainly October is also Fire Prevention Month. This Friday, the fire department does their open house, and Fire Prevention Month, the goal here is to promote fire safety and awareness. So that's this Friday, and as much as it's not finalized, it looks like October 30th will be our Halloween event. Believe it or not, I think COVID has created a shortage of pumpkins, so we were on the phone with a couple of pumpkin farms. We need somewhere between 700 and 900 pumpkins, and so we're still working on that. And that's my report. I'll be available for questions.
Any questions for the manager?
Not a question, just a quick comment about the DPW with the furniture. I know it's been 6 weeks, like you said. I know a lot of towns stopped at 1 month. I know a lot of towns stopped at 1 week. And I know towns that didn't pick up anything, and it was on you to get private pickup. So I think we've been more than generous, and I think Bobby and the DPW has been doing a great job picking it up. I do think, though, we have to kind of draw the line somewhere and go back to our regular collection, because it's getting into leaf bag season now. I know people are starting to put leaf bags out, so that's going to take up our trucks and our guys, so.
Just
That's it.
It's certainly an issue.
through the chair, just to confirm what you were talking about, I got a couple of calls about Teterboro, about the noise levels, but, I mean, the other thing I think is the safety level. I mean, there was just recently, I think today, actually, out in California, out in California, there was a plane that came down on a bunch of houses. So it's a very scary thing for these people, and I can understand that, so.
We'll continue working, and again, hopefully it's only a
Temporary thing.
If it's permanent, I've been on this side of the table before, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Mr. Manager?
Just real quick, Maria, I got one more thing.
Okay, before I
I know you were
forget.
working on the net for the dog park and for that back space there. Do we have any update on that?
I'm sorry.
The net, from the baseball field to.
Yes, so I was just trying to, I gotta just check with the school to see if they would split it with us. It was probably $10,000 that I didn't
Okay.
have. And
Okay.
that's the only thing that's stopping us, the actual dollars.
Dollars,
But it
okay.
is on our list to get done.
I too received loads of calls from Smallwood Avenue residents about the Teterboro thing. So we really need to look into it.
It's certainly an issue that we have to address.
Okay.
One other quick thing, that PSE&G, this whole road work has just been absolutely crazy for people to try to get around in towns. And I know it's not an easy thing for PSE&G, but is there any way they can coordinate a little better? Because they end up closing roads down, and people have to go through Nutley and Bluefield just to get back to Belleville, a place in Belleville.
And Nutley's doing work there too.
Nutley's doing work, everybody else is doing work. I mean, I had to go from my house on Plenge to Valley National Bank. It took me a half an hour.
Look what on ours.
No, it was like horrendous.
Anybody else? No? Okay, we are going to move on. Next item is the report of the mayor. So Anthony, you covered a couple of my topics that I had for you. I was going to ask for an update on Halloween. It appears that you're putting things in motion for October 30th. What day is that?
Saturday,
Saturday.
October 30th, 12 to 3, right now,
Okay.
tentative.
So we'll have a flyer up, I'm sure, in the next couple days.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about the fire event for this coming Friday. You touched on that. We do have an upcoming event this coming Friday, Fire Prevention Week. I do know that the planning board is tackling the topic of Wawa 24/7, and that will eventually come back to this board here, whether or not we want to open up the redevelopment plan or the redeveloper agreement and grant 24 hours there. My question for you, Ann, I'm not sure if you know the answer. or Chief, you might even be able to weigh in, do we permit, I know we have some establishments that are open 24 hours. So I'm not quite, I guess that would be a zoning question. What's the parameter, like, is it a zone that permits it? Is it a type of use, retail? Do we know that answer offhand? Probably not, right?
Kelly might know it, I'm sorry.
I believe it's a conditional use when they apply to the board.
Conditional uses.
The site plan. when-
Because I'm now told, and Councilwoman Burke may know this, that Superfresh on Belmont has a sign
Yep.
saying next month they're going 24 hours.
And,
We
Yep.
notify them that they cannot do that.
yes, I talked to the manager to tell him that the signs are all over the place. We need no more apartments there. We can even move in Silver Lake. It's a wreck,
That's a new place,
so
by the apartments.
terrible.
I don't want to get into the vote on that one, but, okay. So we have I have an Oprah out, so the council knows, that I did receive back about police reports at Wawa. We have had armed robbery there. We've had multiple issues there already, and that's with it not being open past 1 o'clock in the morning. I've been there at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. It shouldn't even be open at that hour without police or armed security there. There have been incidents there already. I just submitted another Oprah today, preparing for Thursday's council meeting, because my previous Oprah is
Planning board.
Planning board meeting?
Thursday's planning board meeting.
Somebody
My-
didn't tell me about that meeting.
My last meeting was, my last Oprah was ended a month ago, so now I want an update to see if there's been any more crime there at that hour. But that's something that I'm, at this point, certainly not going to be for, but I'm glad the fact that you're on that super fresh. News, obviously, the manager mentioned it. I believe it was Councilman Graziano's suggestion a couple years back that during October we wear pink, and I'm glad to see that the participation level is there. We do have a futsal field that has been turned over to us, one of the two. We're going to work on a policy for locking it and permitting it and all that. We are going to be having a ribbon cutting there shortly, and I believe the second one will commence shortly thereafter, something that I think all residents are very proud of. We are going to have a Halloween decorating contest. That flyer and information will be on the website and social media the next couple days. And I'm pleased to announce I've met with the seniors a bunch of times, promised them more activities, promised them more programming. It looks like we're going to be able to get them some Tai Chi yoga, which is very popular among seniors in many other towns. And eventually, we want to bring back their, what's the other stuff we want to bring back, Jack? Zumba, whatever the programming we used to have there, we want to bring that back, but Tai Chi would be a brand new one. Past events, we've had a lot of successful events. Very recently in Belleville, we had a very successful PBA ball. I believe most of the council members were there to support that. It was a great night. Glad to see that happen back in Belleville. I attended the senior anniversary luncheon. Again, our seniors are very happy to be back together and be meeting and mingling again. We had an extremely successful garage sale weekend. Previous record was, I think, 79. I think we went north of 105 or 106 participations. I'm always shocked at how well that's participated. I attended this past weekend the Chico Borja ceremony down at NJIT. Had a chance to meet with the family and discuss some things with them. Looking to bring Chico's memory and celebrate Chico's life back here to Belleville formally somehow, whether that's a retiring of his number. If NJIT could retire his number, if he was an All-American, if he played on the U.S. national team, if he played for the U.S. Olympics, I think our school, where he played here, could also retire his number. That's just one of the ideas I have. Extremely, extremely successful food truck festival. I want to thank the police for all the great work that they did there. Obviously, our fire is always there. Our DPW often goes unannounced, but did a fantastic job. I think we have this one down to a science now. It's one of our easier events now to execute because we've done it so well for so long. This weekend, we had our Italian flag raising and parade. We were right here in the council chambers. That went really, really well. Again, police, DPW, everybody that participates in that, thank you. Upcoming, flu vaccines. When I got here today, we were administering flu vaccines. We're going to be doing it again on October 16th. Additional dates will be available on our website. We are planning Veterans Day weekend. Last council meeting we had, I said that we might make a little change to that, rather than be an entire weekend, Saturday and Sunday. For various reasons, most of them outside of our control, we're now going with Saturday. It's going to be the parade commencing at 12 o'clock and the 5K at 3 o'clock. Much easier for the police to lock down one area on one day rather than do it twice. And there's other reasons and factors that went into that. But I have met with our my Veterans Advisory Council, and we've been working with them. Planning it, second meeting was held today. They're all very excited. Vinny, quick question. Do we know if we are going to be, if we're going to do we have originally planned to do the Purple Heart thing?
Yeah, no,
I don't know where we stand on that.
I spoke with Bobby the other day. We were up at the Memorial Park, Veterans Memorial Park over there on by Fewsmith Church. There's a footing that's already there. We're going to add to it, make it a little bit bigger, and then they could drop the monument on
Do we
there.
think we'll have it ready for a month?
Yeah, you think you could get that done?
Oh, so we're actually
monument
building it.
done?
We're building the footing.
The footing.
Right, but
We do the
where's the
footing.
monument, though?
It goes on it.
But
No,
they
who
have the
has it?
monument?
The veterans have it.
Oh, okay.
But they don't want to deliver it until we have the.
Okay, so it
they don't
looks
wanna
like we
leave
could
it
be
there,
on
yeah.
pace. So that's going to be a busy
Yeah.
day. We're going to do the parade. Something that's on the resolution for the council
Purple Panthers.
tonight is a street naming for a
Yeah.
double amputee Vietnam vet that we had. We're going to look to name the street after him for that. Maybe at 10 o'clock is what I figured. 12 o'clock will be the parade. 3 o'clock will be the 5K. Somewhere in between there, we'll also do the Purple Heart if that works for our vets. Rabies clinic, October 23rd, Fire Department, Franklin Avenue. Information on our website. And the 26th looks like it's going to be the first Tai Chi Yoga at the Senior Center. That is it for my mayor's report. I know we had a longer than normal caucus. I know Councilman Graziano mentioned a lot of things that could have been in committee reports. So we'll start left. No, I'm just saying, he probably don't have anything for committee reports then.
Correct.
Councilwoman Burke?
No, I'm okay.
Councilman Natari?
Anthony, before COVID, with the cultural affairs, we were going to do some creative dramatics, which we did do, and then COVID broke out. And of course, we had to stop everything inside and even outside. Where are we now? Are we able to get back in and do these things? Or, I mean, I don't want to do this if the kids have to wear the masks, because we're going to get nowhere with that. And I understand the safety of masks. So are we doing, besides the sports, are we doing any activities with the rec department inside?
Right now, no.
No.
And Steve, the executive order that students have to wear masks during school hours,
That's, yeah, we wear them every day, Anthony. Yeah,
after our program would require a mask in school.
I would say yes.
I would say.
yeah. So then we need to wait. We got to wait.
No way of doing
Yeah,
that.
you got to wait,
A
yeah.
Broadway production with a mask.
Yeah, or even an acting class is what, you can't. All right. Because some people have asked, but,
Because obviously, they're not wearing masks for, the sporting events aren't wearing masks. So
It's outside.
But that's outside.
Outside.
Keep in mind,
inside, they won't.
Inside either?
Basketball team.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Inside, yes, outside, no, that's what Kelly,
But I'm talking about the athletes.
Mic on?
The athletes are not.
Kelly, you're,
The actors and
Right.
I'll check.
Just look at
Yeah.
I don't want to answer that because
it's also not a school district thing, it's a municipal thing, so
Right,
if
it's
that
a
matters.
private, not private, but not school.
all right, that's all. You know, let's see where we can go with
I'll
this.
circle back on that.
Okay.
maybe.
Councilman Cosarelli?
Yeah, one quick thing, Councilman Graziano was talking about Fairway Park. I think, Bob, are we still planning on the 16th? So we're trying to, we just finalized it today, doing a cleanup on Saturday, the 16th. Bobby has a couple workers anyway that are going to be there, but we were going to make an announcement tomorrow, but we'll do it now. Anyone in the community that wants to come and help clean up the community garden, the park, you know, the basketball court, whatever, you know, we'll be there during the day, couple hours time. I don't-
So don't just make it now. Let's get, Bobby, if you can send that into the website tomorrow, it'll hit our social media, it'll hit the website. That's the
Little
best way to
community
get it out
cleanup
there.
day, yeah,
I think
whatever.
we'll get a big turnout for that, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So Bob, you send the times, whatever, I don't know, whatever works for you and your guys, if they're doing anything else, but,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. That's it.
Councilmember Ravel?
I'm good.
Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go forward to the approval of minutes.
None at this time, Mayor.
Okay, communications,
None at this time.
interesting. Ordinances,
Ordinance number 1 for public hearing, an ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8-16, handicap parking spaces.
need a motion.
Motion open for public?
Second.
Motion made and second to open for public hearing. Clerk, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing no noes, we are open for public hearing on this particular ordinance and this particular ordinance only. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close, move for final adoption.
Motion to close and move for final adoption?
Second.
Motion made and second to close, move for final adoption. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Rovell?
Yes.
Strumelob Burke?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes. Next.
Ordinance number 2 for public hearing, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 3490, creating permanent positions and adopting reclassification and compensation plans.
Motion to open for public?
Second.
Motion made and second to open for public. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing and move for final adoption.
Motion to close public and move for final adoption?
Second.
We have a motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Rovell?
Yes.
Strumelob Burke?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes. Need a motion for public comments?
Motion open for public comment.
Second.
Motion made and second for public comments. All in favor?
Aye.
We are open for public comments. Going to see if anybody has a comment. I'm going to ask you to just come forward and state your name and address for the record. Mary, you can go first.
There we go. Mario Draws, 95 Bell Street. I'm glad you touched on the subject I was going to bring up anyway, about the airplanes. Because since this Saturday till today, I think the air traffic in Belleville, it was horrendous. I filed 2 complaints with the Port Authority and the FAA already in regards to what you mentioned before. So mine is going to be short and sweet. On September 19th, between the hours of 2:25 and 2:40 p.m., sitting in my backyard. So I decided to get a pen and pencil and start timing these planes. In an hour and 10 minutes, I counted 35 planes coming through Belleville, eastbound. That didn't count the 9 westbound planes. So that was 44 planes that in an hour and 10 minutes. So God only knows how many
my God.
planes have gone through Belleville. There was a couple of things here. So let me see. Yeah, I logged all those times, and again, like I said, I was in Paramus and Hackensack today, and I'm noticing that not one plane was heading towards Teterboro Airport going southbound from there. So I said, I know where all the planes are. They're right here in Belleville.
Maybe we could tax them.
Let's see something here. Because you touched on a lot of the stuff, so I don't want to repeat it. Oh, one of the other things, I was on the website of the airport today. Teterboro has an average of 477 flights a day coming in and out of that plane. That's according to theirs. Then I also found the minutes of their meetings accidentally. And people in Hackensack were complaining that the path is too close to their buildings, it's too loud, and it's over their hospital. Which brings me to the minutes of the meeting. The residents of Ridgewood and Paramus are complaining that the planes are going over their hospitals too. Then if I'm looking, every day I look outside, they're always going over Claramas. Why are they different than us? They're complaining that at their hospital, the plane is always going over their hospitals. How about ours? Just,
You're right.
yeah, let me just see here. I don't want to see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, oh, and then on June 9, 2021, News 12 did a coverage on that. And apparently they diverted the planes for not going over Hackensack Hospital. And the federal administration went above and beyond to help them. So I hope they can do the same for us here. And the other thing, the resolution for Mike, I just want to let you know that I've had many conversations with Mike because he's related to us through marriage. And I know we used to talk about Belleville history all the time. And he was telling me how his family was here like in the 1770s, 1780s, they were here.
Wow.
So, thank you.
Goes back to 1800s, yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else for public commenting? Mr. Frantantoni? Okay, sir.
Yeah, it was a very short meeting. I thought I was going to get out of here early, but just in response to some of the things that Mr. Graziano brought up about recreation. Before you do anything new, I think you ought to take care of what you have. I don't know if or you're walking, if you pass the rec house. I got 6 grandchildren. Most of them are over at least once a week. I take them up there, right? Go up there and look. It is a mess. You got the big plastic sign broken, with plastic hanging out there. You got a broken table over there. When I was in office, we renovated that whole area. And I'll bring the pictures, Meg. 2 brand-new, beautiful basketball courts, right? The minute I get out of office, one person comes here, you better get rid of them because we got the people from Newark, and they rip them out. 2 beautiful, full, brand-new courts there. There used to be a wall from the rec house, and kids used to jump and get hurt. We smoothed it, all one. We put that wall from the baseball field up and all. Nothing's maintained. Then, in place of the basketball courts, the previous council, which some of you may be on there, decides to put bathrooms up there, okay? I think 150,000. They never open. I go to all my grandkids' games. Last night, up in Little Falls, the bathrooms are open. Roseland the day before. Union the last week and all. They're always open. You go and walk Nutley, I forget the street there, my wife and her girlfriend walk up there. I went up there one night with them, just sook. The bathrooms are open. And there's nobody maintaining them, but they open. We got this bathroom never opened. So what do? We're all talking, we're going to do this. We don't maintain what we got. Proper word is have, right? But what are we doing here? Does anybody
Just comment.
anybody look at that? It's just absolutely insane what we're doing here. Aside from Teterboro Airport, I don't want to be on the other side of the fence, but I've been taking my grandkids and my kids there. I don't know if you know, Teterboro has a museum in the back. You can go there. It used to be free, but they renovated and all. I used to take my kids. They got a helicopter there. The kids go on. They got another couple of planes. You play there. Teterboro has been there for years, all right? I got a friend who knows that he's got a business there. What happens there, they were there. When it was boomed, where the Teterboro Shopping Center is now, that was empty land. So now people come in, build houses, like Englishtown. I used to drag race in Englishtown. It was the boondocks. So now people come and they build houses right next door, then they complain about the noise. Teterboro was there first, right? So let's put things in proper perspective, And again, to the mayor rather, I got to give you credit. I think you set a new record. You bragged about introducing the budget on time. It's almost the end of October. Where's our tax bills? I looked at all mine. I've never received one this late. We've got them at the end of September, but you set a new record for not sending out tax bills,
And I'm a weak mayor. I will yield to the manager.
Oh, you're a weak mayor, except when something good, then you're a strong mayor, right? You can't have it both ways, Mr. And the other thing, maybe the final thing I got here, you hit Mr. Iacona pretty hard today. He's talking about, we got to kind of 6 months, why can't we figure it, all that? So I asked you a question. Over 7 years, why can't you finish a 2-story building next door?
I would think a lawsuit, a stop work order, I would think.
Oh, yeah, well, then
think that all kind of.
Then instead of being so arrogant with Mr. Iacona, maybe you should have been very calm and asked him because there are other underlying conditions, like you're making the excuse now.
Taxpayer money, by the
But you were very arrogant, and it was uncalled for, So, like I say, a narcissist needs help sometimes, so maybe you should seek help.
I will do that.
And let's see if we can get the tax bill in our hands, because I got at least come up 2 months ago. You don't know what to charge. How do you run a business when we don't know what our expenses are going to be?
So, Mr. Manager, I don't want to be too hard on you, but can you please make sure that Mr. Frantantoni nicely, your time is up, Mr. Frantantoni, gets his tax bill, please? Is that nice enough?
We'll see.
Can I respond, Mayor?
Sure, you can.
And Mr. Frantantoni, I agree with you about the rec house.
I do too.
But then I yield to Mr. Iacona to say, we have a director up there who runs that area, and Anthony, he reports to Anthony, so he can handle that.
Former councilman?
Former councilman?
Did you have anything else to add?
Oh, no, Anthony.
Manager.
We're not going to have a back and forth, thank you.
Manager.
No? Good.
Manager.
Anybody else, public commenting? Sir, I saw you back. Yeah, I know.
No, he's got a bottle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Igor Jean Mary. I live at 133 Birchwood Drive. Roughly 2 weeks ago, my fiance and I started smelling rotten egg scents coming from the faucets in the basement. We started seeing it in the clothing, like smell from the washing machine, so on and so forth. On September 30th, this is what was coming out of all of our faucets. I also have video. So I came here, spoke to someone at the water department. Water department came down to the block and they flushed the hydrant for about 2.5 hours. I've been on the block now for 4 years. I basically knocked on everyone's door, 28 neighbors to be specific. No one has seen them flush this hydrant or flush the system in at least 6 to 7 years. I was told that this should be done yearly. So I didn't know if there was something that we could put in place.
Yeah, I'm sorry, did you say they did come the first time?
They,
Or they said they were going to come?
they're supposed to come and flush the system once a year.
Yeah, but did
They
they
flush
come
in the hydrant.
recently?
Yeah, they came on the 30th, definitely,
I
they came.
misunderstood you.
They flushed
I
that.
just wanted to know, and neighbors wanted to know as well, could we put something in place so that it's on schedule yearly for this to be possible? Secondly, just the other neighbors just speaking to me on kind of like a haphazard paving situation, a lot of blocks being half paved.
PSE&G.
Yeah, and no one knows like what's going on. They don't know if it's like Belleville's doing it, PSC&G is doing it.
It's all PSE&G. That's what
Yeah.
we were just talking about. It's a mess.
Fair.
You can't even get around Belleville.
Fair. Yeah, there's just a lot of confusion from as far as from the neighbors, just like we don't know what's going on. It's kind of like, whether it be some communication or something on the website, it'd be much appreciated.
Got it.
That's all.
So it was funny, somebody was just complaining to me saying that Belleville, kind of trying to knock us, saying that we only pave half streets. I said, well, that's actually a new thing because up until a couple of years ago, PSC&G would rip up the street and never have to pave it. We actually now hold them to the fact that if they rip up at least 18 inches of a trench on one side of the street, we actually now, that's a good thing, we actually now force them to pave at least half the street, which is the maximum they're going to do. Prior, they would never even do that. So it's actually a good thing that we're getting to pave half the street because they're ripping up half the street. I would love them to do the whole street, but unfortunately, this is a lot better than it was because before they were never even obligated to even pave the street once they cut it open.
Gotcha.
So that's actually a good thing, but I'll ask the manager, I know our DPW director's here with regard to your, see what kind of cycle. I know that we do cycle stuff.
There's a schedule.
We do have a schedule. Now, that doesn't mean we miss a hydrant or so. So clearly I have the address. Tomorrow I'll speak to the water department to make sure that, yeah, but we do, it's actually twice a year. We don't do it once a year, we do it twice a
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
But again,
It usually happens
the
after
last time I
hours, so-
checked, there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 550 hydrants because that's part of our Gov pilot report, by the way, but under asset management and
Tried to
550
submit a concern, but he couldn't get it through.
hydrants. And, but clearly, if we're missing that, we need to, and tomorrow morning, I'll make sure that
Emo
it's on
Fairlight
schedule.
Parkway.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, just a real quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you had that smell, was it the hot water or cold water or both?
It was both.
Both.
It was both. And
I've had the problem
so
with hot water at times, but
the breakdown, out of the 28 neighbors that I spoke to, 20 had muddy water. 5 had the reported egg smells
the sulfur.
in their water. The sulfur.
It's
Yes,
got to
sir.
be sulfur in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so you know, and I know you acted, which was good, but you don't, I mean, and first I'm hearing about this, so if you weren't standing here today, I would have no knowledge that that happened to you in your block.
Yeah.
But as I think you did correctly, you came down here, a lot of times residents wait 2 weeks or a month for a council meeting to come. I know you acted quickly, which is good.
Fiance is 8 months pregnant.
Good.
There's no way she was letting brown water come out the faucets and
But
I didn't
I'm
do
glad
anything.
even after the fact.
Yeah, that's not,
that you-
that's not happening.
I thank you for even showing up to explain
thank
it.
you.
First, most of us probably heard of this.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Pregnancy.
And they do, Bobby,
Mr. Frantantoni?
and Bobby, just real quick, they do flush the hydrants, but usually it's overnight, right? So that it doesn't
hours.
affect people's water pressure during the, when they're
don't
trying to
see
take a
'em.
shower. Yeah, so if you don't see them, that doesn't mean they're not doing it, but they do it overnight.
Here's
just
the
so-
hydrants.
That's why you don't see it.
Fire department don't do it.
But since he brought that up about the water, I've noticed it, and it's my toilet tank, it's always been pure white, but there's all gritty dirt like that in the toilet tank. So maybe they need to flush them more often because, I don't know, I've been in my house for 50, 40 years, and I've only seen
gonna
him a
get
couple
sunset.
of times really flushing the hydrants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure it gets addressed, at least on that biannual timeline. Anybody else for public commenting? I know we have one to read. Mr. Mafucci.
Vic Mafucci, 61 Continental. Just a couple things. One, I don't know anyone who's gotten their tax bill, not just Frantantoni's, and I don't know anyone who's gotten their water bills, which normally come out weeks before the tax bill.
Tax bill's going out this week.
Okay. I mean, usually you get the water bill and then you say, hey, the tax bill's coming up in 2 weeks.
Water bills went out.
Anthony, have I blocked those in any way? Just want to make sure that I'm not stopping those bills from going out.
Actually, very, very good news. I thought you were going to hand deliver them.
Save the stamps.
I did write a letter that's in the tax bill. I'm sure that'll be the topic of next meeting.
Okay.
Save the seals.
Corner of Franklin and Continental, the former Bank of America building, which is now vacant. By the side door, they have a garbage
Garbage
can,
can, yep.
which is overflowing. Somebody contact the owner, get them to clean it
I
out.
would just remove it, but
Well,
it's not my call.
I don't know whose
Anthony, I
garbage
was-
can it is.
Because we can empty it once.
That's
it's
Franklin in,
Continental. It's
Continental.
the old Bank of America bank. I've noticed it.
Right next to where they're renovating the Wendy's.
job for
Yeah.
Get it out.
Just a little more on Teterboro. Part of the difference now, years ago, you had these small Learjets.
Yeah.
Now the corporate jets, I don't know how many people they hold. They're much larger,
Bigger.
make a horrible amount of noise. They're noisier than the planes from Newark that fly over.
24 people. I mean, one.
Also, as far as anybody being open 24 hours, I wasn't aware of anyone, because any case we ever had before the zoning board, they were turned down.
I think the Quick Check is open 24 hours right now on Washington Avenue.
Oh,
McDonald's on Washington Avenue.
Taco Bell's? Taco Bell?
I thought we had,
I don't think Taco Bell. Taco Bell?
I thought we had turned McDonald's down. All right, that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else for public commenting? Sir?
And Pat Mark used to be the old shop, right?
Bill Milden, Huckle Street. Mr. Mayor, the Board of Ed is paying you $2,950 per month with a 2% rent increase per year for 5 years for the rental of your property on Union Avenue. Is it true that we're paying you the money, the tax money?
The Board of Ed is.
Well, where's the Board of Ed get the money from?
Comes either from taxes or from grants or
Yeah,
from bond.
taxpayers. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've well established that fact, by the way. Anybody else? Nope, I believe, Madam Clerk, you have one to read. You have 5 minutes to read it.
And you're gonna need it, and you're gonna need it.
She's reading for 5 minutes, and that's it.
Marky.
I have a public comment from Alex Glassbarrow. He is from 144 Academy Street. He states, "On August 17th, 2021, I asked you, Mayor Melham, and this Belleville, New Jersey Town Council to address the parking issues on Academy Street, which Captain Contract of the Belleville, New Jersey Police Department cites as the reason for his department's lack of interest in curtailing St. Mary's, St. Mercurius Coptic Church clientele's unwarranted, unwelcome, and alarming behavior towards my family and myself, arising whenever visitors to this organization refuse to move his or her illegally parked motor vehicle from across the front of my driveway when asked to do so. Given the fact that you, Mayor Melham, and the Belleville, New Jersey Town Council have yet to introduce a new parking ordinance, such as that of residential parking permits, time limits on curbside parking for non-residents to free up parking spaces for other visitors to Academy Street, have yet to provide significant documentation of any official legal notice sent out forbidding the blockage of private driveways or make provisions to station a traffic officer to direct the flow of traffic on Academy Street during peak hours. Publicly list any and all laws that will be enforced to permanently resolve the parking issues on Academy Street, which promotes such hostile behavior toward innocent members of the community by visitors to a religious establishment which has its own parking facility. Let me repeat that, has its own parking facilities, yet illegally park across the front of someone's driveway. I would like to request once more that the parking issues on Academy Street be addressed at the next Belleville, New Jersey council meeting. For the record, these cases of harassment were in fact reported to the Belleville, New Jersey Police Department, complete with photographs, and each one dismissed by the Belleville, New Jersey Police Department in relation to the parking issues on Academy Street. With each passing day that you, Mayor Melham, and this council do not fulfill your responsibilities to address the parking issues on Academy Street, to terminate the constant terrorization suffered by peaceful individuals, such as that of my family by Coptic church visitors, who refuse to move his or her illegally parked vehicle from the front of my private driveway when asked to do so. You place a great deal of needless stress upon our family, especially that of our children. Logically speaking, since this organization, located at 125 Academy Street, has an on-site parking facility, the absence of a parking deck mentioned at the September 14th council meeting, which may never be forthcoming for safety and security reasons, should not deter any of you from addressing and resolving the parking issues on Academy Street.
Talking about the parking.
It would stand to reason that as soon as this council fulfills its obligation to unequivocally resolve the immediate parking issues on Academy Street, there will no longer be a need for me to call the police or involve myself any further on any level to report or litigate crimes of harassment leveled against my family by Coptic church visitors who illegally park across my driveway, then refuse to move due to the unresolved parking issues on Academy Street, as suggested by Chief Mark Minikini at the aforementioned council meeting.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Can I have a motion to close public commenting?
So moved.
Motion moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody not want to close? Ayes have it. Resolutions. Can I pull number 4, please?
So you moved, yeah.
Need a motion to move the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made in second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Graziano?
Yes.
Natari?
Yes.
Rovell?
Yes.
Strumelob?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
I'm sorry.
So
Did you call me?
Yes.
Yes. My answer is yes.
You need a motion to move forward?
Resolution number 4.
Need a motion to move forward?
Yep, motion to move it. Need a second?
Second.
Motion made in second. Discussion. I had put this on the agenda. I know Michael's daughter very well, Trish. I've known her for 30-plus years. Was at the wake when she made an appeal to me, and I figured that this is something that I know we always did. We've kind of only done it once or twice in the last couple of years. So I contacted Councilman Cosarelli, and it looks like we're going to be able to get it done. I put it on the agenda for today, again, in preparation that maybe we can make it part of our Veterans Day ceremonies. Pull the date out of the air, 12 o'clock parade, maybe a 10:30 ceremony there. We'll alert the veterans, make sure they're there. But if we can have a sign in place by then, I know I got an email today that a sign was ordered. I don't know how long that takes. But that would be wonderful, especially to be able to do this on Veterans Day. Michael
That'd be
was
great.
a vet, member of the DAV, served in Vietnam, double amputee. These are the people, especially with roots going back to the 1800s, that we want to make sure we always remember here in Belleville. Anybody
Sounds
else?
good. Nope.
Need a motion, please? So we have the motion we've made. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Natari?
Yes.
Rovell?
Yes.
Strumelob?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes. And new business?
I have a little. When are we going to have this council of the, it's so cold in here, you can't even talk.
Wait, we gotta
I'm
wait for the summer.
shivering.
Summer will get warm.
It's horrible, and this has been going
Let's
on
not
so
beat up the
long.
manager now. Mr. Manager, I'm sure you're all over this.
The summer will be warm again.
Oh, it's only, when I complain, it's only beating up. I'm sorry. My bad.
We'll make sure that,
I'm sure
Manager's
you
trying
will.
his best.
should have shut the air conditioner off
Oh, my God, it's really
Why is it still
freezing in
on?
here.
Manager's
and
trying his best.
If I get pneumonia, I'm
Hold on.
going to sue all of you, I swear.
Turn this baby off.
Is that it, Marie?
Yes,
Okay,
that's it.
motion-
I'm
I just had
freezing.
one
more.
quick thing. So we had the flag raising, although the weather didn't really, stay with us. But several years ago, Councilman Cosarelli, myself, Gene Antonio, and Manny Alfano worked with Unico and the Italian Federation to put up two what we call diversity poles. Those are the two poles that sit in the front. This last year, Gene passed away. So I just wanted to remember him because he was a big part of our community, and he was a big part of that whole thing of bringing the community together and putting those diversity poles up.
Yep.
So
I
to their
agree.
family and everything, our prayers go out.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.